All right, so Aaron of the Washboard Union joining us here. You guys have quite the summer planned. Of course, the new single is out, which we're spinning pretty good, and it's fantastic. It's catchy. It's the perfect festival song, right? You know, band on a t-shirt. And I got to get some background, some info on that song because it's a really cool take that hasn't really been explored before in terms of like kind of like a love song, but you know, it's unique. It's cool.
Yeah, that's what we loved about it. I mean, when we recorded that song, we definitely thought, wow, this feels summer. Like it's got even a bit of a reggae vibe to it, and it just feels summery. But beyond that, Shane, I'm sure you have the same thing as I do. I've got like a drawer of band t-shirts and artist t-shirts that I've collected over the years, and it comes to that shoulder season where you're like, you know what, I should clean this drawer out. I don't need all these shirts, do I? But you start going through them and you're like, no, I love this one.
Yeah.
No, I remember where I was when I got this one. Oh, that person gave me that shirt. I can't get rid of that one. And you just have this love for those t-shirts you just can't get rid of. In fact, I've actually made had a friend make a quilt with a bunch of t-shirts from,
Well, that's cool.
previous bands and stuff like that. So it's like a t-shirt quilt. So they stick around forever, right? So there's this love of band t-shirts. So you kind of pair that with the idea of like if you love someone or if someone loves you, like you love that band on the t-shirt. It's a cool vibe like that.
Yeah, it's an everlasting kind of thing, right? You got the memories and with the t-shirts anyway, that's been a nostalgia, but it's the memories from when you got it, right? Whether it's who gave it to
Ex
you or being at that concert or whatever it is.
exactly. And those memories stick with you. That's what dreams are made of right there. And with festival season right around the corner, there's gonna be thousands of more band t-shirts out there. So we'll make sure to get you into one of them.
Sweet, that'd be great. How did you first of all, how'd you come up with the quilt idea? You know, you obviously don't want to throw them out, but where did the idea to get someone to put them into something like that come up?
Well, literally, I was going through my band t-shirts and some previous bands that I'd been in before, just memorabilia, um, you know, certain markers in life or whatever the case is. And I was like, these are in a box and I do not wear them. I don't want to get rid of them. I can't get rid of them. They're one of a kind. And and I just thought, well, how can I sort of, keep these forever in a way that will be useful, but also decorative and memorable, but you know, they won't get sort of torn up and washed with the blacks or whatever like
Yeah.
that. So I kind of came with this idea myself, and I just cut them up. I cut little shapes out of them, and all the same size. So I figured, well, I've got a sewing friend. That's actually David's girlfriend in the band. David's girlfriend, Tonya, she did it. So she's a really great sewer, and she makes designer clothing and that kind of thing. So I'm like, what do you think about this idea? And she's like, I love it. So took a few months because it was definitely on the back burner, but we got it done. So it looks great.
That's awesome. Who came up with this idea for the song, like the band on your t-shirt? Like obviously you're sitting around, you're trying to write something. Like who was the first that went, oh, what about this?
So there's a number of writers on this, and it's just it's one of those songs that the idea kind of floated in the room, and when you know it's just one of those things where I don't know, the ideas just kind of came in the air, and like the writers made this song, and it's kind of hard to tell exactly where it came from, but once the idea is flowing, everyone has ideas, and it kind of came quickly. The song was, and it's an older song as well, so.
Yeah. So with this, obviously the new being released as a single or whatever, what's the plan for more music coming forward? Is there like an album in the works? I'm talking thinking like that, or is it, we'll worry about that when festivals are done.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's funny you say that because this is the radio single that's basically launching our new album that comes out on July 12th. And the album's called Westerly. So this is a really interesting album because we've written a lot of songs. We wrote about 35 songs for this album and pared it down to 10 that it's going to be on the album. So there's all, some old favorites there like I Run on Country, Gather Round, and a couple others we released to, Apple and Spotify only releases. But this next single, we're really, really excited about it because it's going to launch this new album, Westerly. It's an interesting album as well because there's lots of snapshots. We recorded, two or three songs at a time over the course of a number of months. And so there's a little something for everyone in this album. and also there's different pockets of creativity that go into the recording at certain moments in time, and so it's kind of like, we term it like the winds from the west. Here comes some different flavors from Washboard Union, and it's our most ambitious album to date.
Well, I was gonna say, if you're recording a couple of songs here and then a couple months later recording some other songs, the vibe must change a little bit from recording session to recording session, if especially when there's that big of a gap, right? And is it how prominent that comes through in the recording, or is it more when you're writing songs in a gap that you find the differences?
It's a bit of both. Definitely for the writing, and then for the recording, it's 6 of 1. It's as I say, 6 of 1, half in the oven for your brother. But it's you get when you have a band recording and you're recording 6, 7, 8 songs at a time, you can't help but have similar sounding sounds and feel throughout all those songs. So inevitably, the songs have a bit of a homogeneous sound because of where they're recorded. When you record 2 at a time, well, there's completely different settings. There's completely different, the instruments have changed. Your playing has changed. Where your mind is creatively has changed as well. So you might make different choices on the record. So we actually we've done it both ways, and we're really preferring this way of doing it right now. Plus, there's always fresh music too. So with recording new songs immediately, well, within 6 weeks, we can have that song on radio or DSPs.
Yeah, and I guess that's the beauty of the way the industry works right now. I mean, whether or not, I know there's people that are for streaming, they're against streaming. They're like, oh, we don't make enough money, those kind of things. We want the CDs to be sold, but you have the ability now to get music out instantaneously instead of having to wait. Oh, we've recorded this song, but we got to wait, 8 more months until we have the rest of the album done before we can really send it out and to get everybody hearing it all the time. And and before it used to have to be, oh, we want the single, so we got to get this out to radio. Now you can get whatever song you want to whatever people you want, whenever you want, and then save the specific songs for radio to get that big push in a whole different way. Which I've been asking artists lately if they prefer the let's wait and release an album method, or is it a hey, we'll release it and send it out whether or not we have an album coming or not. So is that what do you prefer?
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting to say that because there's definitely 2 schools of thought with that, or maybe there's more schools of thought actually, but a school of thought was, and we've done this, is where we take new songs, we before we even record them, we take them to the live setting, we play them for our fans, and we see what sticks, what they respond to. And if we can see people, which Country Thunder is one of those examples, we hadn't recorded that song yet, but we started playing it for about a year in front of our audience, and we noticed that people were singing along after the second chorus hit, and they didn't know the words, and quite frankly we didn't either, but we were sure trying our best. And so that's sort of a telltale of a song that's got a sticky factor and something that we should really chase. So we said, well, that's the one, so let's go record that one, and it turned out to be a great hit. So that worked out. But if you don't have that option, getting it out to TikTok, Instagram, any SoundCloud, any of those platforms where you can get some feedback immediately, the song will speak for itself and the recording will speak for itself, and you'll have some feedback quite immediately on whether that has a sticky factor, whether it resonates, whether it works with your audience or not. So say from going out and playing it live for a year, you could just do it that way and get some feedback immediately. Now, is it a little bit more removed from your fans and your audience? Maybe, because live brings a different element to your song when you play it. You've got the feelings and they've got the feelings and you're sharing the feelings, but it's definitely another avenue. So it's hard to say. I guess the jury's out on whether one way is better or the other, but they definitely both work.
Right. I'm curious to know if there's been a song that you guys thought, so you talk about taking Country Thunder to the fans first before recording it. Is there a song you thought, okay, we're going to play this live, it's going to hit, it's going to be a hit, and then there's nothing, you end up having to scrap it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we definitely have some of those. I don't want to call them duds because they still mean something to us, sure, and we love the song. But yeah, there's a number of songs over the years that we've even recorded, or were B-sides to a recording, and we didn't actually release it, but we still love the song so much that we play it live, and we're all amped up on it, but it just for some reason didn't quite resonate with people, and so it just kind of finds its way out of the set, and we stop playing it.
Right. What about something that you talk about the crowd not reacting, but you recorded them anyway, and you're like, this means something else, we put it out there, and then it still became a hit or a bigger song. You're like, hey, that was weird. We believed in it and it worked, but the crowd didn't when we first played it. Has that happened?
So I've got two examples for you. We have a song called Polaroid Kiss. And we had when we recorded the demo of it, we just loved this song. We're like, this is it. This is the one. We went to the studio, we recorded a whole bunch of songs. That was one of them. And when we re-recorded that song for the album, because the demo is just, this, you record the demo in a couple hours, whereas the full length or the album version can take, a day. And the recording we got from Polaroid Kiss didn't quite hit it even for us. We weren't even really feeling that. So we had the demo, we were playing it live, we loved it, the crowd loved it. It worked, we recorded it. We weren't too keen on the recording of it, and it didn't make the album. And so it never actually saw the light of day, even though we felt like out of the gate it was a great hit. In the demo stage. So that's an example of where sometimes the demo beats the album, and we should have just maybe released the demo for all intents and purposes. But another song to that example is a song called Shut Her Down on our last album. And it was one of those songs where we were pacing sort of the vibes of the songs to radio. And so we released the song. It was, that was the Country Thunder kind of era as well. And we had great success with that, and then Doc Rock, great success with that. Then COVID kind of ended, and we're like, we got one more single here. Shut Her Down could be the single. And for whatever reason, the team and ourselves felt like, well, let's move on to new music and leave this one. And that was a sleeper hit on DSPs. All of a sudden, it was picked up by playlists. All of a sudden, people were saving it. People were really responding to that song, and it had the largest growth on the platforms than any of our previous singles had had. So, sometimes you just never know. So now Shut Her Down's in the playlist of what we play live, and it rocks. I mean, people just love that song, and we love playing that song. So that's an example of one that we thought, well, it probably won't be a radio hit, so let's leave it, and it blew up.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy sometimes, right? Even in any industry, like in my industry too, you go on the radio, like, I'm going to talk about this today. The fans are, the listeners they're gonna call in on this topic, and then nothing. And then you ask them like, the stupidest question about, blue or black socks, and then the phones light up, and you're like, I don't know what happened, And sometimes you just got to roll with it, right? See what works and hope for the best. But
sometimes keep it simple, stupid, right?
That's just it. Exactly. You can overthink everything too much sometimes, right?
Absolutely. That's a really good lesson for what we do. Because it's our industry, we feel like we've got to be, the best and professional and think it through and just make the right decisions. But sometimes just go with your gut, go with what your intuition feels, and let it rip.
I think TikTok has almost shown people that you don't have to be 100% polished in everything you do, because sometimes, like you watch TikTok videos and they can be rough cuts and edits, and sometimes they're shaky because people are moving around, and then they get millions and millions of views because it feels like more relatable, because, nobody's perfect. You can't live, everything at the absolute perfection that you want to. And so it kind of humanizes you, and you can take that into any aspect of life. And I think the same thing with music. Sometimes if it's too polished, you feel like, oh, there's something off about it. You lose the feeling to it, right?
It's a great analogy. Yeah, TikTok is really, really great for that. It's opened a lot of avenues for people to be imperfect and show their imperfections, and it's celebrated rather than shunned.
Yeah, exactly. I won't keep it too long. I know you're probably anxious to go keep watching your son, who's doing some track and field stuff right now. Good luck to him. Hopefully he holds out and brings home a medal or two. But yeah, so the new single is obviously out now, Band on Her T-shirt, great song. And you said July 17th?
July 12th for the
12th.
new album.
Well, sorry. Yeah, new album July 12th. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So, good luck on all that, and good luck on the festival season. I know you guys probably have 1,000 shows coming up, and it's going to be a crazy summer for you. And, all the best.
An interesting thing, if you go and save band on a t-shirt on any of your DSPs, you actually will automatically be notified for the new album, and that will be instantaneous for you on the day. So
Perfect. There you go. So just go do one and you get it all in a month from now.
that's it. That's it.
Perfect. Well,
Yeah, really,
appreciate your time, Aaron. Thank you so much.
really appreciate your time and your listeners. Thanks a lot for supporting the Washboard Union. We appreciate it.